Today we're drinking tequila. Let's make some bad decisions. So today we're making a cocktail called a Paloma, and to be precise, we're making two of them. So the origin of this cocktail, like a lot of classic, it's a little bit muddied and no one's 100% sure where it comes from. But most sources point towards it being created by Don Javier Delgado Corona of La Capilla Bar in Tequila, Mexico. I've definitely just butchered all of those pronunciations. What's also often unclear is exactly how you should make this drink. There's a lot of arguments among bartenders of should you use a commercial bottled grapefruit soda, or should you make your own grapefruit soda with fresh grapefruit juice? If you're going to use bottled soda, which brand do you use? Today, I'm not telling you the right way to do it, but I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and say how I make it. So the first version we're going to make, super simple, really easy, uses a bottled grapefruit soda, you can knock it up in a pinch, and it's delicious. So this super simple first version we're making relies on a bottled grapefruit soda. Which one you use is really up to you. There's loads of great brands out there. I've got a couple in front of me today. Jarritos is amazing, it's made in Mexico, it's delicious. Ting is pretty widely available as well. It's made in Jamaica, it's also fantastic. I did have some Squirt as well, which is another great one, but I drank it all. So today we're using Jarritos, but again, pick the one that you like the most. What we're also going to need for this drink is Blanco Tequila. Now Blanco Tequila is the best option for this. You want that crisp, clean, lighter style of spirit. Leave the añejo and reposados for something else. Finally, we are going to add a little bit of fresh juice just to jazz this one up a bit. So grab yourself a pink grapefruit and a lime, and we're good to go. We're going to build this whole drink in the glass. There's no need for a shaker, there's no need for a mixing glass. We want to keep this super simple. So kicking off, 50 ml of our Blanco Tequila. Now the joy of this drink for me is nothing really needs measuring. You can measure that 50 ml, but you can also feel free to just kind of pour it in. I'm not going to judge how much you add. Next up, the lime. Again, we're not going to measure this, we're just going to cut it in half, and we're going to squeeze this straight into our glass. Same with our grapefruit, cut it in half. My juicer isn't big enough for this, so we're just going to give it a squeeze. And then we're ready to hit it with our soda. I like to add a little bit of soda before I add the ice, just to make sure all those ingredients mix together. Splash of that in, and then top your glass up with ice. You're probably going to need to give this a little bit more of a top off. Quick little stir. And then, if you're feeling particularly fancy, hit it with a slice of grapefruit to garnish. And it really is as simple as that. That is just so refreshing. It's light, it's clean, it's crisp. That big juicy flavor from the red grapefruit comes through. The grapefruit soda is a little bit lighter, it's a little bit sharper, but you still get plenty of sweetness in there. This is just too easy to drink. This is the option for if you want to knock it up in a pinch, if you've got some friends over, if you're drinking out in the sun, if you really can't be bothered to make something more complicated, but you still want an exciting flavoursome drink. This is the way to go. This one's even great if you want to make a big batch of it. Build it in a pitcher, make as much of it as you want, and then just stick it on the table and everyone can have a glass and pour their own. It's perfect, it's refreshing, it's clean, and most of all, I don't know if I've mentioned this, it's simple. Now, we've made our simple one, let's get a little bit more hands-on and we'll make our more complicated version. So our slightly more complicated, slightly more hands-on version is going to start exactly the same, with 50 milliliters of Blanco Tequila. After this is where it starts to differ a bit. So last time we didn't really measure everything, it was all just squeezed straight into the glass. This time it's important that you measure your ingredients. The ratios are a bit more exact here and you want to get them right. So next up, we don't have any grapefruit soda this time, so we're going to make our own in the glass. This starts off with grapefruit juice. So this is a mix of 50% red grapefruit juice, 50% white grapefruit juice. We're going to have 40 milliliters of it, so 20 ml of white, 20 ml of red. So next we're going to add lime juice. This time again we're going to measure. We want 10 milliliters of lime. So we've added a lot of citrus here, we've got a lot of acidity, we need sugar. You could just use a plain white simple syrup, but what we're going to do, because we're working with agave spirits, we're going to use an agave syrup. Agave syrup tastes a little bit like honey. It's a little bit lighter, it's a bit more floral, and it pairs great with this drink. We want 15 milliliters of agave syrup. Now that syrup's pretty heavy, it's going to sit at the bottom of the glass, so we'll give it a little swirl. And then we're going to add a splash of soda, same as before. Because this is our fancy version, we're going to use a big fancy column of ice. Top it off with a bit more soda. I've just realised I completely skipped a step. This is not a step you want to skip, so don't do what I've done. We're going to add a pinch of salt to this drink. Now, you can put a salted brim if you want, I'm not a big fan of them. I like to add the salt straight into the glass and mix it in. What this is going to do is it's going to really bring out that big, juicy grapefruit flavor. It's not going to make your drink salty, it's not going to make it savory, but it is going to help us uplift those flavors and balance the drink. Think of it like food. Just because you add salt to your food doesn't mean it becomes salty, it just helps to bring everything together. So a little pinch of nice sea salt in there, and we'll stir it in because we added it late. Add this before the ice. And there we have it. Because this is our fancy version, we're going to use a nice dehydrated white grapefruit, and you're good to go. And there we have it, our fancy, hands-on, slightly more complicated Paloma. It's so different to the first version. The first one was really light, it was really refreshing, it was uplifting, it was a little bit more simple. This one has a lot more complexity. You get a lot more of that big juiciness, you get a lot more kind of mouthfeel and texture to it. It has this almost like earthiness about it that I didn't get in the first one. Let's try them side by side. So just from the color, this one is cleaner, it's lighter, this one's got a little bit more depth to it, it's a little bit kind of orangey. They both have like a slight pink hue to them, but let's give them a taste. They're both great drinks. Like I said, this is the one for barbecues, it's the one for drinking during the day, it's the one for when the sun's out and you just want something refreshing and easy. For me, this is one for towards the end of the day. Maybe the sun's setting, maybe you want something a little bit more fancy, something a bit more exciting, and you don't mind putting some work in. That's when I break this one out. There's a good reason I have 2 recipes for this drink. So it's good to kind of get to grips with both of them because they both have their uses and they're both absolutely delicious. So there you have it. If you've never made a Paloma before, now you can make 2. And if you're already a fan of Palomas, maybe give these a try. Whenever people think of tequila, they think of margaritas, they think of shots. And honestly for me, this is the ultimate tequila drink. This is my favorite thing to make with tequila. If you're a fan of tequila or you're a fan of margaritas, I really encourage you to give this a go. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video interesting. Let me know in the comments what drink you want to see me make next. And if you did like the video, leave a like, hit subscribe, and you can always follow me over on Instagram at todays_tipple, where I post new recipes, new drinks every single day. Cheers. I'm gonna go and drink both of these now.